So with our lovely Miss P, we were having some guys up on the roof because one of my heaters wasn't coming on. So they did, I think, just figure it out and fix it. But Miss P has been a little bit unsure because she's been hearing the footsteps and some noises coming from above her. So, and of course, since it's a big open area, it tends to echo and make some funny noises. Ready, Poppy? So we were just trying to work a little bit with some name recognition and some easy skills like find it's just to get her more comfortable. Ready? Poppy. So if, let's say, she doesn't respond because she's a little bit, overwhelmed or flustered, I will go right to her and see if I can get her attention. Ready? Poppy. And you'll see that there will be times, I know Miss P sometimes struggles with some novelty equals a little bit of scared moments for her, so she gets a little bit flustered. I'm going to go ahead, though, and feed her for every little check-in she does on her own, as well as sometimes the lovely name recognition she's able to handle. So obviously going to a new environment, I know she's been here for a couple other classes, but that's again with the support of her family. So sometimes, as I've mentioned, their first few days coming to the program can be a little bit trying. So you can see that she's a little unsure. Nice. So remember, I'm not feeding for the woo-wooing or the getting scared. Ready? View it again as you're trying to give her something that brings her comfort and can help her bounce back from the stressful situation. So I always bring it back to little humans. So imagine, ready, Pops? So if, let's say, Miss P gets a little bit nervous, we'll go right into a little find it. So what we're trying to do is, obviously within her comfort range, if this was really hard for her, I wouldn't try to keep working her through it. But what I'm trying to do is imagine your little one fell and they bumped their knee and they're crying. In that situation, if you go and comfort them and say, oh my gosh, are you okay? And you snuggle them up and you maybe even offer them a cookie or a snack, they're again not being reinforced for the fall or for the scared moment, but they're being comforted and then at times given something to try to make them feel better again. So with Miss P, if sometimes she's a little bit unsure, my favorite is in the beginning to work those find it's, because now we can start to get her up and moving, but also start to pair the weird little noise with here comes the bringer of snacks. So you would want to work on this at her rate. So obviously today I don't really have much control over the repair. But if, let's say, for example, at home, there is on Spotify, so, where you could listen to music and other items that way, they do have what's called a dog desensitization playlist. I am not saying that you're going to go right into construction sounds or loud banging or thunder. But if, let's say, Miss P finds novel things to be a bit hard, I would highly recommend that at a very low volume, you pick a sound that doesn't overwhelm her, just is novel but non-scary or threatening. So see, she can hear that they're up on the roof, but she's a little bit unsure. So what I like to do is just go right into some find it's. Nice job, Poppy. Ready? Find it. And what I'm trying to do is imagine you would be, for example, you really don't like a certain smell, but let's say every time you smelt it, someone gave you $1,000. You may start to seek out that terrible odor to get the paycheck. So it can be some of those moments where Miss P may not love the sound, but within her comfort range, if she picks up on it and then gets a reinforcement, it can start to change the emotional response to that original trigger or thing. So again, as Miss P starts to get more fluid and more comfortable, she has been taking food beautifully. So I know the first day she was a little bit unsure about the food and what to take and what to not take due to her comfort range. So, sure, I'll be right there. My little one is here as well, and she said that she dropped a snack. Ready? She needs a wet wipe because she was having a snack and she's sticky. Ready? Poppy. So right now, Poppy, you can't see her. She's actually out of the camera range for right now. And I do have a slow feed bowl over there with some of the snacks that Mom had brought. Yes, nice job. So what we're trying to do again is pair these weird noises, yes, with a nice big find it so we can start to make weird noise the bringer of good. Back to the Spotify playlist, if, let's say, you were to try some of those audios, make sure it's nothing that is instantly overwhelming or spooky from her perspective. Chewing is optional. So let's say Miss P has never heard wind chimes, but she doesn't find them scary. You could go ahead. Okay, I'll be right there. Yeah, get your towel a little bit wet and then you can use it. She was saying that she needs to wipe her face, but she said she can do it. So, Poppy. So let's say she hears the noise and she's a little bit overwhelmed. I'm going to go right to her little sniffer, try to lure her into me, and I might even feed her for a little check-in. If she's able to offer other skills, awesome. If she's too far gone, definitely work a little bit through the fun by doing find its. Remember how I mentioned for Mr. W, so he tends to do a lot of jumping and popping off of his mom. Remember that a lot of that tends to do with anxiety and stress. So it doesn't mean that he is keeling over and about to not make it, but same thing with Miss P. When she starts to get frazzled, she tends to pop and jump, and she's still a little bit unsure about those funny noises, but she tends to pop and jump, and then also sometimes will apply her mouth. So if her other criteria have been met, so she's had a few good naps, she's already gone to the restroom, she's had her exercise for the day or whatever time frame it might be, then Miss P, if she's especially mouthy, she could be going through, depending on her age group, her second teething phase where the incisors start to grow at around 9 months. Ready? Poppy. Yes. So she's like, no, I swear there's boogie monsters that are coming from the ceiling. So right here, nice job, cuteness. So, but notice how she's able to bounce back from the environment more than she ever could before, even though today we have a very challenging distraction up on the ceiling and in the roof area, technically. But you want to view it from Miss P, is if, let's say, she is overwhelmed or overexcited, a lot of times as arousal, so that jazzed up feeling, she will then, out of a displacement behavior, probably start to use her mouth and her body when she's a little overwhelmed and doesn't know what to do instead. So again, when in doubt, practice the skills you'd rather have her do before the event happens. So if, let's say, find its might be your go-to dance move in the beginning before you can have her really work on a place and a settle. She may even like, for example, she keeps going for the slow feed bowl. I did take some of those awesome sort of goodies, like I think there's cheese and I think a muffin and some bananas. And I plopped those items into the dish. So that way throughout her practice, she has little breaks that she can go take a little recess from the big things and thinking. So I might try again with a little name recognition or a little positive interrupter. If she's very interested in her bowl, we'll let her just rock it for now because she's doing that versus being overwhelmed or pacing. So fingers crossed they're all done fixing the heat because it has come on a little bit ago, and maybe they're almost done on the roof. Poppy! Yes, what a good girl. She's like, oh, let me just meander on down. Good job, madam. So as her comfort range is then again getting bigger, her ability to then practice other skills will then be more attainable. If when you're practicing with her, she has no real ability to offer a skill set, that's where using, again, more of the skills that involve just movement and replacing not the greatest behavior that we don't love, like the jumping or the mouthing, with something we'd rather have her do. But remember, it tends to be a little bit of a stress signal. So if you're finding she's doing it throughout many different scenarios, it could be that we need to work on a little bit of building confidence or resilience in other bubbles to help her through that. So right now she's just a little excited about these snacks. She likes these ones quite a bit. So if, again, she offers booty on the floor, I'm going to feed her for that. If she goes to do her usual, I might turn and pivot and then see if I can get a little sit and then feed her for that behavior. If she was still very wiggly, I'm going to show her the snack, but send her away for a little find it. And then, Poppy, see if I can bring her back into me. She's like, hold on, lady, I actually like these crumbs quite a bit. Nice, right there. So if your puppy cannot manage a sit because they're too overwhelmed, try to, in the beginning, do movement behaviors and then start pairing in some others. You want to what? Okay, I'll come help you in 1 second. You could push the button at the very bottom too, Ebba. Sorry, she's needing some assistance potentially. Nice job, Poppy. It's the button at the bottom, Ebba. So with Miss P right now, working a little bit from the environment, that was a beautiful little sit. And of course, it was probably because she would rather be itching or being a naked lady. Ready? Thank you, Ebba. Ready? Nice job. So right now we're just warming up with those find its. Ready, Poppy? Yes. Nice check-in. So remember, sometimes when the environment gets really trying, you might have to lower the criteria or make it attainable behaviors or skill sets that your puppy can offer. So if in the beginning saying off 30 times as your puppy's jumping all over you is not working, then think, well, what could I do instead with her? So sometimes managing the environment is step number one. Can she make it to the front door when people come over? That would be something I would manage. So using her leash, using confinement, maybe using a baby gate. I know I had mentioned earlier that the videos with Millie, the other golden retriever, might be another great reference point to take a peek-see, so you can see kind of how we worked it with her and how you could maybe implement similar setups to lovely Miss P as well. So, but we'll give Miss P a little breather from this, and I want to work a few more skills with her and a few other options as well. But that was still very good through all the weird noises she was hearing.